Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, this video is part of my revert story, but it's not a continuation. I did say in one of my previous videos that at certain points I was going to go back and have discussions on topics. This one's relationships. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this one. I know a lot of people have been scared waiting for this one. I'm not going to use no names, and I'm not going to try and talk about every relationship I've had. I'm going to generalize and talk about one or two that have had the biggest impact on my life. Okay, so I'm going to start by talking about my high school experiences with women. Yeah. Now, I was never a bad looking kid. I was never short of attention. You know, I get people coming on and writing, I'm doing this for attention or I'm doing this for girls. Yeah, not being big headed here, but all I ever had to do was walk into a pub or a club. I was never short of options. Yeah, not being big headed, I'm being real with you, right? Now, I have been a playboy to an extent. Yeah, I always enjoyed going out, meeting girls, entertaining girls. My high school years was no exception to that. That's where it all started for me. I've got to be very, very cautious to the fact that my kids may watch this. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm gonna keep it real. And I hope that if they ever do stumble across these videos and watch them, that they can take the positives, yeah? So my high school years, I had just done whatever I wanted to do. I had various relationships in my high school years. Lost my virginity at a very early age and was open to that world at a very young age, you know? Sort of like, the world I grew up in, it wasn't, sex wasn't so much associated with love. Sex was a good time, yeah? So, and I think that's very common nowadays anyway, in Western society, you know? People don't necessarily associate having sex with someone and loving someone. There's two completely different things now, which is a shame, you know? It is a shame because it doesn't end well. It doesn't. It can be fun at the time, but one person will catch feelings. One person will. It's very rare that two people can meet up and have a promiscuous relationship. Neither of them catch feelings, and they're both just happy with it, how it starts, happy with it during, and happy at how it ends, because inevitably it will end. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, there was only really, like, I've had many relationships. None of them, well, actually, do you know, one or two have ended well. There's one or two women, yeah, that I've had relationships with and it's ended. And if I was to see them now, there's no problem. No problem, yeah. The majority of them end badly. And it's really funny, right, to me, looking back and thinking, like, why is it, yeah, that when someone really wants you, you don't want them? The second that someone don't want you no more, you really want them. I hope that someone can explain this to me, because there's got to be, like, studies done. There's got to be something psychological with that, because that is me, or it has been in my past. You know, I love the chase. Love the chase. When I got it, it's like, see you later. Very rare, yeah, that, like, I mean, I've had a few long-term relationships, but I was never very, very loyal in them. Which ain't a good thing. I'm not proud of it, yeah. But loyalty was not something that that I really practiced in my younger years, and I think that's quite common with. So it's so hot with the aircon unit on, but it's so hot. And it's not an easy subject to talk about anyway. You're probably going to see buckets dripping off of me through this video. So yeah, I mean, look, loyalty was not something that I practiced. And I think that comes from what I witnessed around me. I witnessed people coming and going. So for me, relationships were never something that was ever going to be forever, because I've never seen it around me as forever. Like, my dad was gone I don't have any memories of my dad before he left my mum. Not one. Like, I spoke about my first memory before, and people who watched that video know that my first memory that I can actually physically remember was my mum being stabbed in the back with a pair of scissors. My mum was with my dad at the time, but I didn't even know that until I spoke to my mum about it. So for me, like I said, relationships were never something that was going to be forever. So if you don't think something's going to be forever, then why would you be loyal in that relationship? Like, and again, goes back to what I said. So I love the chase, yeah. I'm not a bad looking guy, quite good with my words. So a lot of the times, what I was chasing, I would get. And then when I got it, it was like, right, well, chase is over now. It's not that exciting. And I had my head turned so easily. So easy. There you go, there's a burp, 6 minutes in. So easily my head was turned. And I look back now and I lost some amazing women because of the thrill of the chase. I lost some amazing women. There's a few of my exes that I think about now. I don't sit here and think about, oh my God, no, like, it's over, it's done, they're happy, and I've moved on. But looking back, there was actually a really nice girl. And I left them for some idiot. Yeah, some toxic girl who just happened to be a bit more attractive. And it shows how shallow it is to pick someone on looks alone. But, you know, the times I'm talking about, I was 19, 20, early 20s. That's what guys do in this age. And, you know, which is why now I want to do it very differently. But for you to want something, get it, not want it anymore, then when you know it's not an option, then really want it again. Something that's always been there for me, always, and I'd love to know where that stems from. It's got to stem from somewhere psychologically, and I hope that someone watching this can explain that to me. So I'd love to know why that is. It's a common thing that I found, you know, like loads of my pals, that I see it day in, day out. So I know it's not something that just I have had to deal with. But I was a dog, to put it in lamest terms, yeah. Like, I'm not going to talk about my children's mums in this, because for me there's no reason to, and the reason for that is because, like, it's going to sound really bad, but me looking back on my life now and relationships, like, I genuinely don't think you ever fall out of love with someone. You don't, as far as I'm concerned. If you genuinely love someone, that love never goes. It just changes, yeah? And if that's the case, I didn't love the mother of my children. Because I've got no love for them now. Maybe that's because they make my life so difficult. But there's just not. I mean, like, I got no hatred for them. Yeah, like, they annoy me at times, of course. Make my life difficult. No hatred for them, but there's no love there. And for me to have done the things I'd done when I was with them, I couldn't have loved them. And I didn't realise that until I will say the first girl that I ever loved, until I met her. Again, I'm not going to drop no names, yeah. But this girl in particular, I met her when I was like 29, I think. 29? I think I was, actually, it might have been a bit younger than that. Like, must have been a bit younger than that. Maybe 27, 28. My memory's not the best for time scales. Before I went to jail, when I was still running around doing the stupidness that I was doing that led me there. And like, I had seen her, yeah, like she worked in a cafe where I used to go for breakfast. Like, I think I went in there randomly one day and I saw her and I was like, bro, like, I'm coming to this cafe every day. Yeah, there was just that attraction there. There was just something there straight away. And like at the time, I was doing other things. I was very busy, running around. I had other girls on the scene. So like, it weren't something that I was like gonna go out. And do you know what, right? I'll be honest with you. 90% of relationships or women that I've been with have been, they've approached me. They have. I've never really been that sleazy guy to be going up to girls. You're right, darling. Can I have your number? No, I'm not doing that. Like, I'll put myself in like somewhere where you can see me, engage it. Yeah, like I'm not that creepy guy. I never was. Some girls might be watching this who might have something different to say. I'm sure I've been that creepy guy once or twice on a night out, but in general, as a rule, sober, wasn't that guy. Yeah. And she approached me. I think she she asked someone to put a number down on the table in front of me. And first night I went out with this girl, like I fell in love with her like that. Like the first night, I'll never forget it. And the relationship was in my eyes, it was great from the beginning. But then it wasn't far into the relationship when I found out that she wasn't exactly single when we met. She was still seeing her ex, and when he found out, I think he threw her phone in the river or something like that. He just saw and then went through her phone in the river or something. That was the first I heard that she wasn't completely single. And then, like, we had this like whirlwind relationship. Like, we was just going places, doing things. It was great. Yeah, it was great. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like even though the things that happened in the relationship were a bit savage, like I look back and I had some of the best times of my life with this girl. But yeah, like she went back to and cheated on me with her ex, and I had him ring me up telling me one day. And I was in love with this girl, so I didn't even care. Like, obviously it hurt. I think we might have split up for a day or two, but I was in love and I didn't care. Like, that's the thing, when you're in love with someone, you will let them do anything. You will let them treat you however they want. And this is why hard-on relationships don't work for me no more. Because, like, had that first day when she put that number down in front of me, I said, give me your dad's number, let me speak to him. She wouldn't have been able to do it. Because that ex was involved with the family, and there's no way that could have happened. So that is why asking for the dad's number, or a family member like a brother, uncle, or doing that family introduction, which is looked at so strangely nowadays, yeah, is a really, really good way to go about it, because it will eliminate them if they're not genuine. And there's a flip side to this, right? If I ask you for your relative's number, yeah, with your dad's number or something, you know I'm genuine. You know I am. Because if I just want to, yeah, why am I going to ask for your dad's number? Why am I going to approach you? And if you say to me, look, there's my dad's number, I'll call him and see what he thinks. If I call that number, I'm genuine. I'm a genuine guy. You've got to be. Or you got to be proper, like, you got to have issues to go through that route and do them things. Just for a bit of yeah. You've got to be. But like I didn't care. And we stayed together, and again the relationship was amazing. Some of the best times of my life with this girl. Travelled the world with this girl. And then not only did I fall in love with her, I fell in love with her family. Like, I fell in love with her family. Like, I never had that family unit, like as I've said before, and there I felt part of it, and it was beautiful. Like, honestly, like I've got nothing but love for all of them. Probably gonna hate me for this video, but look, this is what I do now, so I'm sorry. Like, I'm not dropping no names, but I'm gonna tell my story as real as I can. Yeah. So I was blissfully in love. Didn't really think anything about it, even though the start weren't great. Looking back now, 2 big red flags there, but still blissfully blinded in love, yeah. it wasn't until, I don't know, maybe a year in that I found out that she went on a holiday very, very early into the relationship, and some things happened. I'm not going to expose her too much, but some things happened when she was on holiday. And when I found that out, I was devastated. I remember I was at my mum's house when I found out. It was my mum's birthday. I spent my whole of my mum's birthday laying on the sofa like that. I don't want to talk to no one. Yeah. And again, took like, that wasn't the end of the relationship. Because in my head, I justified it. It was at the beginning. We're a year in now. That happened at the beginning. I was blindly in love. Blindly in love. And again, I'm going to go back to the beginning. Had I gone about it the right way, asked for the DAS number, that couldn't have happened. And like, while I can't regret it, I can't regret it because I had some of the best times of my life with this girl, and the memories that I have are still there, and they will always be there, good and bad. And I've learned a lot from it, and there was life experiences. And had I asked for the DAS number straight away, we wouldn't have had the opportunity to fall in love, and we wouldn't have had the opportunity to have the relationship that we had. Now, while that might be sad for me to think about because I wouldn't have the memories, but maybe I would have made memories with someone else who was, I'm going to say worth having the memories with, but that ain't even right, because the girl was, she's an amazing girl. She is, and I hope that she's not the same anymore, and I hope the next relationship she gets in, she does it the right way. But maybe that would have freed up my time to have done something better, because I'm not gonna lie, that relationship cost me a fortune. That relationship cost me a fortune. I'm not saying that she was a money grabber, but like, I wanted to travel the world with her. I wanted to do loads of nice things with her. So yeah, like I said, I stayed with her and I justified it in my head, right? Then I went to jail. Now, this is a weird one because just before I went to jail, we weren't really seeing each other. We'd sort of broken up. I can't really remember the reason why. I remember meeting her, I think a couple of days before I was going to go to, like, before I was up for court. Like, it weren't 100, but like, my solicitor and the pre-sentence report and probation were like, he's been on bail for 2 years. The pre-sentence report said he should not go to jail. This is what, like, I'm not being funny, being white helps, yeah? Because no one of colour could have gone to court for what I was up for and had the probation stand there and say, he shouldn't be going to jail. He's just spent 2 years on probation, 2 years on bail, and he's moved to a different area, doesn't associate with anyone, he's rehabilitated himself, and putting him in jail is only going to push him back and make him associate with criminals again. Probation said. I was up for like a PWITS on a class A. Yeah? So we met just before I went up, and we sort of said like, yeah, okay, we're gonna see how, like, I can't remember the exact conversation, but I remember meeting up with her just before. And I remember when I got sent down, I remember they said you can make one phone call. And I used my one phone call to phone her. And the conversation was nice. The conversation was a nice conversation. Like, I'm not, like, if I'm being vague at certain points, it's because I can't remember the whole thing, and I'd rather just be a bit vague than talk crap, yeah? But basically, she went out that first weekend and she must have got with someone because she didn't want to see me. She didn't want to come jail and see me. She didn't want to return my letters no more. And I was in jail and I was bugging out. Yeah, like, what can you do? You're in jail. Someone don't want to answer the phone, and like, to the point where, like, when you first go, you gotta apply for a phone card. You gotta get people's numbers put on. You gotta, like, get people's addresses. There's a little transition period, yeah. And I was bugging out. I had no stamps, so the only letters I could write was there was free. You can send letters free, but they're second class, so they take like 5, 6 days, 7 days. Sometimes they don't even get sent. The guy in the office must be like, ah, nah, I don't like the look at you, yeah. And I was bugging out hard. And then I got to terms with it. Like, I think 2-3 weeks in, I was like, do you know what? Like, I'm over it. Don't care. And then I got a letter from her, and it was like, oh, I'm sorry, I haven't written to you or nothing, blah, 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 blah. And then I wrote back and said, look, like, I put her on the visitors list, sent her a VO, And I've said to her, like, look, boom, if you've done anything, yeah, tell me now. Don't come and tell me in a visit or whatever, something along them lines. And she wrote back and she was honest. She was like, yeah, look, I hooked up with someone that weekend. Because I think she was supposed to, like, I wanted her to come and see me. When you first go down, you get like reception visit or something like that, where someone can come and visit you in the first couple of days before the list starts. And she didn't do it because she was going away for that weekend. And I just knew, like, that something happened. And she wrote back, she was very honest in the letter, and she was like, there, look, boom, something did. I was like, okay, look, come on the visit. We won't even talk about it. Just come on the visit. And now, in this time when I was in there, right, she saw other guys in that time, yeah? And there was one time where, like, look, she was great when I was in there, yeah? Like, whether she done, like, even though she done what she done, while I was in there with these other dudes, yeah, she came to visit me regularly. She put money in my account if I asked for it. She done more than 90% of everyone else I knew. Yeah, there was one friend, Marbs, man, I love you, bro. Like, this guy done anything for me and he still does, yeah. My sister Steph, she was good for it. Like, and I annoyed certain other members of my family while I was in there trying to ask them to do stuff. And like my sister, a few of my other sisters pulled some weight for me, I'm not gonna lie. Like, my brother Harry pulled a bit of weight for me. Like everyone chipped in a little bit, yeah. But this girl was down. Like, when I got moved to Only, she was the only person who come, and she must have come there like 5-6 times in a 3-month period. Like, she was, without her, my jail experience would have been devastating. Like, it would have been a lot harder than it was. Yeah, she made it very easy for me. But at the same time, she was out there seeing these other dudes. And there was one time, yeah, like I used to speak to her on the phone near enough every day, yeah. We used to write letters to each other once a week, and then, or at least once a week, and then you can email a prisoner, yeah? And then if you email someone, they get it the next day. And she used to email me 3 times a day. And it was lovely, because I knew every time that door opened, I was going to get an email from her, yeah? And then there was a weekend, like 3 days, where I didn't get no emails, nothing. And I remember banging on the Gov's door. Gov, where's my letters? You're violating my human rights. Where's my letters? Where's my emails? You ain't giving them to me. And he's like, Scott, that hasn't been done. I was like, go and check. Look, you give me letters every day. You give me 3 emails every day. You know that I get them. He was like, Scott, I know. He was like, I'll tell you what, let me go and check, because there might be an issue. Come back and he was like, Scott, I'm telling you, bro, there's nothing there for you. Nothing. And I just knew at that point that something was going on. But I didn't want to know then, really. So she gave me some bullshit and I accepted it because I'm in jail. I don't even really want to know the truth. And it wasn't until I got out and I was like, I know. I already know. So you might as well tell me, because I already know. Yeah, so if you don't tell me the relationship's done, but if you tell me we can work on it, she was like, okay. I was like, oh, why did she just tell me? I was bluffing you out. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then again, like, that weren't even the end of the relationship. Because when you love someone, you make excuses for them. When you love someone, you will do anything to keep hold of that love, yeah? Even if it's not reciprocated. And do you know what? I'll be honest with you, I felt like it was, like I said, this girl done so much for me, but I just think maybe she just, I don't know. Yeah, why do people do what they do? Like I said, I had done it before. My excuse is because I was a dog and my head was turned really easily, and if I had something, I was always looking around. I can't speak for anyone else, but like I said, I had done things like that and worse prior to meeting her. It just so happened that when I met her, I loved her and I didn't do it, and that was the person that done it to me. Karma, right? So many people are gonna watch this and be like, good, I'm glad she done it. Yeah. And look, it was a learning experience for me. It was like something that I feel like I had to go through to be who I am now. And like, the relationships I've had since then have been a lot more positive from me. I haven't been perfect still, do you know what I mean? But it opened my eyes up to a lot of things, and hopefully it's made me treat women a lot better, because any girl, and I had quite a lot of relationships in the last, like, since me and her split up, yeah? Any girl who I've been with in the last 2-3 years, I'm sure that they can only tell you that I'm a gentleman. Yeah, I treat women very differently now, and I think that relationship is what has given me that. And, you know, like I said, there's a lot of exes that that I've been with since splitting up with her that I still talk to now, or that I don't talk to, but that's because they've moved on and it's not appropriate. But there's no animosity there. Yeah, I feel like the way I treat women now is really good. Like, I'm really respectful, and I know what I don't want in a relationship, so I know not what not to give. Yeah. But I've always struggled with since then with matching that feeling. I never thought I'd get that feeling with anyone else, and it wasn't until I come to Marmaris last year that I got that feeling again. And this one's really raw for me, so I'm gonna try and talk about it. But if it cuts out, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just not ready to talk about it yet. But I met this girl, like I've spoken about her before. People know that her mum was my introduction to Islam. And I met this girl, and again, she approached me, you know. I was sitting in I was drinking very heavily at these times. I had this bar I used to go to in Marmaris, which is where I am now. And my days are very different here than they was the first time I come. You know, it's like nearly midnight and I'm sitting here talking to you. Yeah, so different my evenings are now. But I was sitting in there, just minding my own business, and this dance team come in, doing a dance show, and this girl just, like, my jaw hit the floor. The first time I saw her, I was like, oh my God. And then it come to the end of the dance show, and it was getting people up, and she come and got me up, and I was like, oh my days. I was so happy, I was so excited. And yeah, like, we had to do, you know, these cheesy dances in these fun pubs and that, yeah. So we was just doing this cheesy dance around. And one of her friends was gay, one of her dance friends, and I think I caught his eye, and she grabbed me and was like, no, come here. And at the end of it, she said, Instagram. So I was like, yeah, boom, Instagram. She went on, carried on her shows at different pubs, because she had, like, short shows at loads of different pubs. And then I remember, like, she messaged me, and I was so, like, I was buzzing, yeah. And she was like, there's a problem. I was like, what? I thought she can tell me she's got a boyfriend or something, didn't she? She was like, I can't speak no English. I was like, well, I can't speak no Turkish. So what are we gonna do? She was like, I don't know, but, like, do you want to meet up after? Like, I finished work at 12. So I went and met her, and I was paralytic at this point. I remember meeting her on Bar Street, and within 5 minutes, I was on one knee saying, will you marry me? I was drunk out of my head. Get up. But we had to, like, do you know why I done it? Because we couldn't understand each other. The club was so loud, and I just wanted to show her that I thought she was beautiful. So I got down and I said, will you marry me? She was like, get up. And the only way we could communicate was by Google Translate, passing the phone back and forth. And do you know, it's funny, because I just spoke to someone else today who was going through that. They've met someone, don't speak the same language. And when they were telling me that, I was like, oh my God, like, it sounds crazy. Why only now does it sound so crazy to me? When at the time, it was everything. I didn't care. Like, if that's the only way we could speak for the rest of our lives, then that's it. Google Translate is my everything now. And it's just strange how when you're in the moment, things don't seem crazy. And later on, when you look back, you think, right, how did we even get through that time? But yeah, so Google Translate back and forward, that was how we spent the next few days communicating. And we spent the next few days together, and it was beautiful, every moment of it. And I remember the day I had to leave, because I was only there to get my teeth done. I remember the day I had to leave. I was devastated. I said to her, I just want to take you with me. She was like, take me, man. She was like, take me with you, I don't care. Obviously, there's visa applications and that, so it was not something that could have actually happened, but that's how I felt, and she said that's how she felt as well. So I come back to England for a month, and we spoke every day, through text. Then it was like her birthday, like a month later, so I come out for that. And to my amazement, she could speak some English. We could have half a conversation, yeah? Still heavily relied on Google Translate, but we could communicate without it at the same time, which was amazing on her part. I used to say, oh, look, I'd learn Turkish. She was like, no point. What I should have done was study it anyway. If a woman says to you, don't do something that you know will benefit your relationship, do it anyway. Yeah? I didn't. And lack of communication is something that really affected the relationship further down the line. It's probably one of the ultimate things that means we are not together now. Yeah? So do it. Don't wait for a green light or be asked to do it. Just do it. It's only going to benefit you down the line if you stay together. And even if you don't, you're going to learn something and take something positive from it. So I come back. We spent 2 weeks together. And it's one of the best 2 weeks of my life. You know, she was still working most nights. It wasn't until about a week in, she had a problem with the guy that she was working for. He was really rude, a horrible guy. And she was like, I can't not work because I need the money. I was like, well, how much are they going to pay you? It was like 1,000 lira. I was like, that's like 100 quid. I was like, boom, take that, leave him, we're going to go to another city. We went to Fethiye and we had the most beautiful time together. Best 100 quid I ever spent in my life. Yeah, I'm telling you now. Considering I used to go out and spend, on a night out, and spend 100 quid before I walked in the place, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So we had the best time. And I remember leaving there. Now, the day before I left, I think, she was on the phone to her mum, and her mum was going off. This English boy, non-Muslim, what are you doing? I remember sitting next to her and hearing her mum go off. Couldn't understand a bloody word of it, but I knew it weren't good, yeah? And it was horrible to be in that position, but I remember leaving there, and I'll never forget, she got on the bus from Fethiye station, and she got a bus from Fethiye to her hometown. My hotel was an hour away from Fethiye bus station, and I walked and I cried the whole walk. People was looking at me, staring like, no, blubbering, but I couldn't get in a taxi because they didn't want anyone to see me like that. So I just thought, I'm just gonna walk, and I walked for an hour in a blazing heat, and I think I got about 45 minutes in. I just sat there like by the water, and I just sat there for about an hour, and it was a horrible experience. And the relationship went over, like nothing bad happened. Like, that's how like that. This girl, I love this girl differently. So I spent like 2 days in Fethiye on my own, then I come back to England. And we carried on talking every day. I was flying back and forth every month, flying to Turkey for 3 or 4 days at a time. And I remember at one point, randomly, she just messaged me and said, I can't do it no more, sorry. I was like, what? What are we talking about? We've never had an argument. Like, we've never had an argument. Like, I've never done anything. Like, honestly, yeah? Wallahi, mate, Allah strike me down dead right now. If I ever done anything, cheated or anything when I was with this girl, yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? I've been perfect. I've done nothing wrong. Nothing. For the first time in my life, I've done nothing. Nothing out of place. Like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't work it out. I couldn't understand it. And I was devastated. And then about a week later, she messaged me and she was like, oh, look, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know where my head's at. And do you know what? I'm going to backtrack a little bit because she was in a car accident, a really bad car accident, right? And when she rang me and said she'd been in the car accident, I was like, boom, I'm coming right now. Rang my work. I said, I'm leaving now. I need a week off. I'm going to Turkey. I rang my sister. I was speaking to her and I was like, look, I'm going. Like, I need you to maybe do this, and this for me while I'm gone. And at the time, I was already booked to go back to Turkey like 2 weeks later. So when I spoke to her, first I heard of it, she FaceTimed her and she was in the neck brace in an ambulance. I was like, oh, I'm dropping everything. I'm coming right now. Then she messaged me when she was at the hospital and she was like, Scott, don't come. You're coming in 2 weeks anyway. I'm fine. There's nothing really, I've just a few cuts and bruises. I'm okay. Just wait. If I could go back, I'd have dropped everything and I'd have got on a plane and gone. That's what I should have done. Yeah, but I didn't. Then before I went out there, she told me that she couldn't do it no more. then just before my flights were booked, luckily, like, I didn't cancel them. Like, I never cancelled that flight because I didn't want to. I wanted to go, even though she told me that the relationship was over. I still wanted to go. So why am I going to cancel a flight that I'm not going to get no money back for anyway? So just before the flight was due to go, she messaged me and she was like, "Can you still come? Like, I don't know if we're going to be in a relationship or what, but I want to see you. Can you still come?" Boom. Of course, I'm there. I should have been there already. Yeah, I was so angry at myself, and I was angry at the people around me for saying, "Was look, Scott, she said she's okay, so wait." I was angry at them. I was like, "Why did she tell me that? I should have gone." Because at that point, I thought, I'm never going to see her again now. Like, if I'd have gone out there, even if she'd have told me when I was out there, at least I would have seen her. And well, this is a really, like, so I'm going to interrupt, like, this is a really weird thing because a relationship ending is hard. When you know you're never going to be with anyone, like the person again, it's hard. When you love them, it's hard, yeah? But I would rather have the pain than not, if that makes sense, yeah? So, like, even now, like, if you know that you can't be with someone, and you know that seeing them's only going to hurt you, it's only going to bring up old feelings, it's only going to make you feel bad again, I'd rather have that than not. That is love. That's love. When you don't even care that it's killing you inside, you're still doing it anyway. That's love, yeah? But anyway, I'm digressing. Let me go back to the story. So I went out there, we spent a couple of days together, everything was okay, everything got back to normal. And then got her a visa to come to England. She didn't like it. And before we come to England, I had to go and meet her family. Now, with her mum's initial reaction, right, you can understand why I would have been a bit scared, yeah? Well, not scared, but like a bit apprehensive, right? So there was a lot of stress on my shoulders. I'm going to a different country. I'm going to meet this family who are Muslim, who don't like me straight off the bat, yeah? But her mum agreeing to see me was the reason why I started to look into Islam and the Quran. I thought, you know, out of respect, at least I can go there and say that I've opened the book, yeah? But number 2, 37 minutes in, that's not bad. So yeah, there was a lot of stress on me. And not only that, the visa process was very stressful because my whole relationship depended on me getting this visa for her. If we didn't get the visa, the relationship was finished. There's a lot of pressure and a lot of stress, as well as my work stress, as well as the kids, baby mum problems. There was a lot of stress on me at this point. And that is when we started to argue. And that was the beginning of the end, right? So when I met her mum and her family, and oh my God, what a beautiful family they are. Like, honestly, like, I still speak to her mum now. Honestly, like, her mum, I call her mum. She calls me son. And I'm not even with the daughter no more, yeah? And this is nothing to do with the fact that I'm a Muslim now, because she accepted that before. But, like, everything that I was worried about, there was no point in worrying about. Got the visa. Family situation was fine. Them pressures changed me and made me treat her differently. And she weren't perfect. She pushed my buttons. But normally when she pushed my buttons, it didn't bother me. I didn't react because we all push each other's buttons sometimes. But because of the stress and pressures I was under, she pushed my buttons and I reacted. Yeah, I never touched her. I never hit a woman. Yeah, but I reacted as in, I remember one day I said, "Look, I don't even want you to come to England now. I'm packing my bag and I'm going." Yeah, like, thinking about me saying that now is like, what? Are you stupid? But at that moment, that's how I felt because I was just under so much pressure. Then when she came to England, at first she was like, "Okay, yeah, like, I'm gonna stay and we're gonna build life together." And then it was like, okay, now I've got the stress of you, like, you can't really speak the language, you don't have a job, I need to pay for everything, I need to find us somewhere suitable to live, where are we gonna live, how are you gonna be when I'm at work all day, how am I gonna set you up business-wise, how are you gonna learn language, how are we gonna get your next visa? And these pressures made us argue and fight a lot. Then coronavirus come and we was on lockdown and couldn't even leave the house. In England in February, who wants to be there anyway? Let alone someone who's used to Turkey, beautiful country, nice weather. And that was it. got to the point where we couldn't even sit in the same room. She had upstairs, I had downstairs. At the time, I didn't care. I thought, I just want you out. I just want to be out of here. This is like, imagine being in a house with someone that you love but you don't speak to, that you just argue with all the time. And it must have been really hard for her being in a different country. Yeah, I understand that. But what she didn't understand is that when she came, we moved to Manchester, and that I might as well have been in a different country. I couldn't just go and see my kids. I couldn't just go and see that. Like, she didn't want me to leave her there overnight. So I couldn't go and see my kids or my family. So we was both in prison there. And what I would give to be back in that prison, I'm telling you now, because the day that, like there was one day when we just sat down and we was like, look, we're going to be on lockdown together for a couple of months. Yeah, we need to accept it. We need to make the best of it. So we went to Tesco. The weather was just getting nice. Got to end of March. We was just started having some really nice days. Weather forecast was amazing. So like, look, let's go to Tesco, buy loads of barbecue stuff. The next few days, we're just gonna have a couple of barbecues and just have a nice time. We went to Tesco, spent 150 quid on food. Yeah. 7 o'clock that night, she got a phone call from the government. So there's a plane leaving tomorrow. You've got to be on it. Pack your bag. Go to the airport right now. Devastated, ain't even the word. I mean, it had to happen because we would have just carried on killing each other, not physically, mentally, emotionally, had that not happened, I think. But at that moment, it was like someone just ripped my heart out of my chest. And it's funny because 2 weeks before that, I was wishing someone would just take this woman away from me so I didn't have the pressure or the stress of having to worry about her. So yeah, I mean, that was the end of the relationship. Like, we've seen each other since, we still speak. And I will never, like, I know already, because even the ex that I spoke about previously, like the things that she's done to me, if she rang me now and was like, Scott, can you help me? I'd help her at a drop of a hat. Yeah. I will always love that girl, that ex from my past. Yeah. It's a different kind of love now. Like, I never got, like, I don't think either of us would ever go back. But if she rang me and said that she was in trouble or she needed anything, or even if she just rang me and wanted to chat, I'll be very happy to do that and have that with her. And this ex is the same. And, you know, all the time I've been alive, you know, there's a few girls from my past who could ring me up and ask me for things, but it wouldn't be the same. Like, it just wouldn't. Like, love does not go. It just changes, in my opinion. Some people might have different opinions. But, yeah. 42 minutes I've been rambling on for. I'm not going to bore you with any more details about it. That this is my YouTube channel where I talk about my life experiences. I promise to give my not just my revert story, but my whole story. And relationships have been a massive part of my life. Now, might be a few girls sitting there thinking, what? We had a good time. Why didn't I get a mention? 43 minutes, yeah. Like, I could sit here and talk for hours. I really could. But I just wanted to give you the bits, the things that have affected me the most, yeah. Now, all of the experiences that I've spoken about have made me who I am now. And anyone who meets me now will get the best of it, because I've been through this, I've been through that, and I've taken something from everything. And you ask any of these girls that I've spoken about, or any girls that I've seen in between them periods of time, what I'm like I'm a nice guy. Yeah, I don't disrespect women anymore. I haven't done that for a long time anyway. But all of these experiences have just made me think, right, you know what, when I find this now, I am going to maximize every single part of it. But yeah, look, thank you for taking, like, if you've managed to watch this far, thank you for watching 44 minutes in. I hope that people can take something from this. Anything that you've enjoyed, anything that you think is quite beneficial, comes from the grace of Allah. Anything stupid, anything you didn't like, anything idiotic, was me. Assalamu alaikum.